request dispatcher and sendRedirect method. It is one kind of inter-servlet communication. Discuss about the various techniques to communicate between the servlets. Inter-servlet communication. Various ways to communicate between the servlets. Request dispatching using HTTP redirect, servlet chaining, first of all, request dispatcher. Need to include the content from HTML page output from another servlet. Use include and forward methods of request dispatcher interface defined in the javax.servlet package. Include. Use it to include the content from another resource, another servlet, a JSP page or an HTML page. This is the signature of the method. Request and response. Forward. Use it to forward a request from one servlet to another. Before passing the request, original servlet can perform some task on the request object. This is general form of forward. To perform include or forward operations, obtain request dispatcher object. Using get request dispatcher of servlet context. Using request dispatcher of the servlet request. Using get name dispatcher of the servlet context. Give the relative path as a parameter. Specify the name of the resource for this method. Request dispatcher. First servlet goes to include or forward by using request dispatcher and send the second servlet. This is the way to communicate one servlet to another servlet. Here giving the paths. Both the servlets are in the same directory. That time you can give like this. Use the relative path. If you are using a servlet context object, specify the path relative to the context like servlet, second servlets, like this. Use the get name dispatcher. Use the name of the resource, the servlet name alone. Corresponding resource must have an entity in the deployment descriptor file web.xml, including a servlet from a do post. It invokes the do post of the second servlet, including a form from a do get. It invoke do get method of second. Won't invoke like this. Using sendRedirect method, forward perform the redirection on the server side using original request and response object. sendRedirect send the request with the new URL back to the client. It connects to the URL by creating a new pair of request and response object. It is the HTTP servlet response interface. Response.sendRedirect, you are giving the whatever the website, another website. Difference between the sendRedirect and forward. It works by sending a status code that tells browser to request another URL. Round trip to the client. Previous HTTP servlet request object is lost. Redirect the request without the help from the client. Both the HTTP servlet request and response objects are passed to the new resource. Faster. sendRedirect is slow, provides more flexibility. Redirect the user to any URL. Works only within the same web application is forward. Next one is servlet chaining. Servlet chaining is the process in which the output of the first servlet will be sent as an input to the second servlet, and output of the second servlet to the third servlet, and so on. Finally, the output from the last servlet is sent back to the browser. Listing of the servlet chaining like this: client servlet 1, servlet 2, servlet 3, and servlet 3 is come to the client. Use the request dispatcher to achieve the servlet chaining. Use the attribute of the request object to set and retrieve the values between the servlets. Example for servlet chaining: first servlet and second servlet. Simple form: it sends the first servlet, send parameter to servlet, first servlet is sent to second servlet, this is the form. The first servlet, given the name, this is the first servlet, extend the HTTP servlet. Request.get parameters, getting the name. Is not equal to null, then request.set attribute set the name is a attribute, and request dispatcher equal to request.get dispatcher, given the servlet name URL, and getting that object to call the forward method and passing the request and response. If the error is comes, it will show the error message like this. This is the second servlet. The output. If you give the name, give the submit button, call the second servlet. Request from the form first servlet and forward second servlet, and display the output.